Hi everybody, this is Emily Smith, and this is my presentation on the district that I work for, Beaumont Unified School District. So Beaumont is a district in Riverside County. When you're driving east on the 10, you would hit the city of Calimesa, and then the very next city is Riverside. So Calimesa is San Bernardino County, and Beaumont is Riverside County. So we're kind of right on the border. We have a total of 9,975 students, and as you can see from this graph, Beaumont is a booming town. So when I started there back in the 06-07 school year, we had 7,000 students, and it has grown to almost 10,000 now. And even before I came to the district, it used to be kind of around 3,000 for many number of years. But when you drive around our city, there are just houses going everywhere. People are, I think, moving out east because of the cost of living. So there's a lot more restaurants, stores. It's just kind of a changing dynamic in our city from what it used to be. But it does still feel very hometown, which is nice. So the growth has been something that is a big deal for our district. Currently, there's 11 different school types. There's 6 elementary schools, 2 junior high schools, 1 high school, 1 alternative ed school, and then 1 21st century learning school. There's also a couple charter schools in Beaumont. So in the 10 years that I've been there, I've actually seen them build 2 new schools, and then there's also 1 new school projected to open next year. And then they already have plans for 2 years later to build another school. Like I said, we are just growing, expanding. My school is TK through 5, and we have close to 950 students. So we are just maxed out. Every school, every classroom is taken. I know we had to move our SAI to the back of the library, and the speech room had to get divided to have the speech teacher has a part of it, and then the intervention teacher has part. So there's not a lot of places to put all these students. So it's a good thing that they're building new schools. This is our superintendent. His name is Terrence Davis, and he is a newly hired superintendent. He became superintendent in July of 2016, and he was already a member of the Beaumont Unified School District. So he was the assistant of human resources from 2012 to 2016, and then he became the superintendent when our old one retired. Before coming to Beaumont, he worked for the Temecula Valley School District, and he's a former teacher, and he also has a master's in special education. This is our board of trustees. So our president is Steve Hovey, and Steve works for the RCOE. He is the chief personnel officer. But before he was at RCOE, he actually worked for the Beaumont Unified School District. So he was the assistant superintendent of personnel services from 2006 to 2011. And he actually is the one who interviewed me and hired me. So kind of interesting to see it come a little full circle, working there and then leaving and then now coming back on the board. David Sanchez is the vice president, and he is a principal in the local city of Banning. And his big thing is to embrace the special education, and he really works with a lot of students who just need some extra services. Susie Lara, she's been on the board for quite some time. She is a parent. She's lived in Beaumont for 24 years. And she just wants to bridge the school and the home and the community kind of all together. Janelle Poulter is a school counselor also in Banning. And then Brian Silva is the newly elected board member just last year. And he works for the Community College District, and he's a sports information director at the College of the Desert. So here's a little bit about the demographics of Beaumont. Beaumont is largely Hispanic or Latino. 52% of the students there are of that ethnicity. And then the white population is the next largest at 32.3%. And then there are other ethnicities also in there. African American at 7%, Asian at 3%, Filipino. So it's kind of a good little mix. but it's predominantly Hispanic or Latino. Here is the enrollment by ethnicity compared to the local district. So my school is the farthest east, and just across the street is the district of Banning. And Banning is a smaller district. They only have 4,541 students, but their ethnicity, you can see the Hispanic or Latino population is at 67% instead of 51%. Their white population is lower than Beaumont's. And then the rest of the populations are pretty similar. So they're a much smaller district, but their ethnicity is a little different than Beaumont's. So one of the areas, it said initiatives, and the big focus this year for Beaumont, I think, is their 9 pillars. So this graph was shown to us a lot at the beginning of the school year and at some of our district in-service days. And they just are really hoping that as a district, their big push is that all of our instructional practices are coherent. And they really want to close the achievement gap. So they feel that these 9 areas would really support schools in meeting the needs of everyone in the community. And just kind of how do we plan our lessons and how do we go together? And in the center, you can see that college and career ready graduates is what their big push is. So they want everything to be focused on how do these kids achieve once they're done with Beaumont and out of Beaumont. How can we support them now to help support them later when they are gone from the school district? So their big initiative and their big push is these 9 pillars of the frameworks. So high impact instruction, rigorous curriculum, focused priorities, a change of leadership, safe and orderly environment, structured supports, deepening the learning, and then effective data usage. Here are some of the CASP results from last year. You can see that overall on the far right is the column for all. In the ELA department, we had a higher percentage of students who had met or exceeded. Almost half had met or exceeded the ELA. And then on the bottom graph, to the far right is math. And so for math, about maybe 60% had met or exceeded the goal. So math is one of our big focuses right now. I mean, at my school, we do goal charts and things, and how do we push the math? So you can see that math is a harder for a lot of students, and so that's a big focus for us right now. Even starting at the TK age, how can we build a foundation so when they get into 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, where those gaps are a lot harder if the students are not meeting them, what is the foundation that we can give them at the young age to help them in those higher grades? So I went back and found some older results. It's a little murky because of the change of testing, but I did find that the 2012-2003 API score, so in that year, it actually went down a little bit, but it's still fairly high API of 805. And then the 2013 STAR test results. So with math, 49% were proficient or advanced, and then ELA, 59% were proficient or advanced. So I think those are pretty high numbers. Here's some financials. So the local revenue is about 16 million. The state aid is 12 million, and then and also 52 million. So the total funding that Beaumont receives is about 81 million. And then on the bottom, it just talks about the ADA. So I know our school's huge on ADA and just pushing for the student attendance. So you can see how many students we have for total ADA funding. And then the unduplicated pupil percentage, which I looked up, and it incorporates disadvantaged students like ELs, students who are on the school lunch program, any foster youth. So there's 59% of the students in Beaumont would qualify under the unduplicated pupil percentage to receive some funding. overall, Beaumont is just an awesome place to work. It's just really small, hometown feel. I know the superintendent, he would know who I am, what grade I teach. We're all very involved in developing curriculum, developing programs. Administrators are all the time in our classroom. The principals, the vice principals, even those who work, director of human resources will make a point to come down a few, days out of the month and just kind of walk around the schools and really make their face known. And I think that's important as a teacher, feeling supported, feeling like if I need something, I can ask for it. They'll get it for us. Recently, I asked for a training on Handwriting Without Tears, which is a program that we use in TK that we've all been given, but no one's been trained on. And so we asked for it, and they said sure. So they're sending us to a training for it. So it's really nice just to feel like they know what's happening. There's not so many schools that they can't get out to all of them. And then it's just a very positive attitude. When you walk into my school or any school, you're warmly greeted. You're, hello, how are you? So overall, I think Beaumont, it's growing, but it's maintaining that hometown feel and that happy place to work. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to hearing the rest of your presentations.